Hey, Chica, it's been a minute.
It has been a long time.
I'm glad to be back. Back in front of our table talk. It's been forever.
I know, guys. I look smart and studious today, y'all.
You know I got those same glasses in my bag.
Oh,
bro.
you do? You should have worn them.
I'm not gonna wear them.
We both can look studious.
I could see.
You trying to say something because I can't see?
Yeah, just a little bit.
No,
just a little
she
bit.
Already being a hater. We just got started.
What up, y'all? We are back. It's your girl Karma and the one and only
Deetra.
And we are back with another episode of Creating Life Changes. What's up? We're going to do things a little bit different this time. I know you guys are used to us going live. Don't worry. We still are going to go live. But, we're going to give you something like, more a little deep and personal. So check us out on YouTube by Creating Life Changes. And then, there's more to come. But what's up, girl? What you been up to?
Living life has been stressful, but good and stressful at the same time. So, it's not bad. How about you?
Been living the dream, I guess.
Tell me about this dream.
Living the dream.
Tell me about this dream, Carmen.
So, I already graduated.
Yes, my girl did.
Officially launched the coaching business.
Ooh.
Check me out on creatinglifechanges.org.
Yes.
Book your sessions, one-on-one. Got you.
And the website looks beautiful.
I'll put the link below. What about you? I see you out there.
I'm doing insurance, guys. So if you need anything life, health related, dental, all that, just check me out. So, you got two bosses over here trying to make some boss moves.
Period. But it wasn't easy getting here. Y'all all know we had to do a big erupt stop on our show before, on our lives every Tuesday night. But, we here now. We made it through our storm. So we're going to sit here and talk to you guys about that today.
So what's the topic? Let me hear it.
The topic is, I just told you, I have a story because I made it through the storm.
Yeah, I forgot I had a shirt on, for being honest.
Yeah. So, a lot of things are going on in the world today. You got the hurricanes. You got it's election year.
Oof, it is.
We got many wars going on. So
it's a lot. Everything in prices are going up like crazy. Prices are going up, but our pay ain't really going up like that. That's the thing. So but as far as what was the first thing you said? See, I just went off track. What was the first thing?
How you get sidetracked like that?
My mind just be everywhere. I don't know.
I don't even remember what the first thing.
Y'all see how she just said. Anyway,
that don't count.
Anyway, hurricanes. So for the people that did go through, sorry to hear about a lot of the people that lost their homes, that lost cars. I seen there was a lot of places that was flooded. So praying that you guys get everything back in abundance quickly, and I hope that your family and everything is okay. So just
with
want to say
delays and pauses in life.
Yes,
at all.
Yes.
We know a couple of things about pauses.
Yes, that was a good segue. I like how you did that.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
That was nice.
Yeah, but we know a couple things about some pauses here. We had experienced some traumas and things that caused insecurities that kind of made our storm more difficult than what it already. We had a lot of, couple things about pauses and stuff, and we had a couple things going that made us a little bit insecure, make our storm a lot of it for
me
longer. So let's talk about it.
Y'all, it was more of a abrupt halt for me instead of a pause. And I'm still pushing through some things. But insecurities that's a legitimate thing, and I didn't realize that trauma could cause those type of insecurities. Of course, with my accident, an insecurity of my skin and my looks, that's a no thing. But I didn't think that it can cause insecurities as far as business moves and taking different steps. I didn't think about that as an insecurity, but it really is.
Trauma that we go through causes us to have insecurities. And insecurities isn't only physical.
Correct.
Insecurities are if you're shy, if you feel like you can't speak up, or, it comes in many ways, shapes, and forms. So the trauma that you face, the obvious is the physical, right? The obvious is the physical. And for those who don't know, go follow her page. She talks all about her story.
I'm gonna do some more, y'all. I gotta do that and bring my story
up. But she is a fire survivor.
Yes.
You know, so that kind of stopped the trucking business. It stopped your home health aid business. It stopped
everything.
Your relationships.
Yes, it did. Because I kind of shut down.
Your relationship with God got
it was
tested.
Yes, it was definitely a test. It was a lot.
It was a lot.
Mentally. And I don't think I realized how bad it was mentally. Like, I knew it was bad, but I don't think I realized how deep it went until I started having to pull some stuff back. And I was like, oh, dang, like, that really hurt me. And God, I was really upset with him. Like, I didn't think I was.
Oh, I was furious.
I was upset. Like, me? Your child? I'm supposed to be your child. I'm supposed to, like, that ain't supposed to happen to me. Maybe somebody else, but not me. And I was upset. I mean, I ain't upset no more, God. I hope you know that. But I definitely was. Well, how did it affect you as far as your insecurities?
Oh, man. So for those who don't know, her accident happened the day I buried my baby brother. My baby brother was epileptic and he passed away in his sleep. He was only 15. And I found him, tried to save him. It's a whole big old deal. So for me, and you know, my path is always helping people. My path has been psychology, behavior, you know, help people transition from their traumas or whatever. So started with me not being able to save my brother, giving him CPR, doing all this stuff, couldn't save him, and then seeing you and couldn't save you. It stopped me from thinking that I couldn't do this anymore, which is why I kind of stopped the positive messages for a year. I stopped the show. Like, I didn't feel like I was equipped enough to do it.
Makes sense.
Definitely. So I'm not a new believer in God, but I am
still a baby.
I'm a mature believer now, but at the time, and 2 years ago when this happened, I was still finding my own relationship with God. And I questioned it hard. Like, I was numb. I didn't go to church. And when I did go to church, I didn't worship. I just sat there. I didn't, I prayed again after, like, you know, when you were in the hospital and all that stuff happened. But, like, the last prayer I remember me praying before that was when the mortician took my brother away from the house. And I was like, I prayed for him, for God to forgive him so he can go into heaven. But after that, I was like, no, this is unbelievable. Like, I got fired from my job a month before, started the business, my brother passed away, that was just terrifying to see. And then all of it was because of me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
you still feel like it's because of you?
Well, I'm saying, like, you would have never been there if it wasn't for you coming down there for my brother. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just felt like that responsibility was on me. So, and I was still in school to get my degree. And I would never forget my, shout out to my academic advisor, because her name is Callie. Shout out to you, girl. Because she had called me and she was like, do you want to stop? And I was like, no. I can't stop because I needed to do something.
Yeah,
like, even busy. While you were in the hospital bed, I'm making phone calls for the trucking company. Like, I needed to keep doing something, but I was dead inside. Like, I didn't feel like I was able to. And the one thing that I got out of it is that I've been hearing God for the longest before all that happened. Like, you know, tell your story. Like, my story from when I was a child and all this stuff. And I was scared. I felt like, I don't like pity.
Yeah.
I hate pity. So I felt like me telling my story was me, like, making it an excuse of why I'm the way I am. Granted, it is why I am the way I am, but it's not like clutch.
Right.
It's not that. But now I look at it and, like, me, and it came from being in the church more, like, you know, when he was like, you know, God uses you for a reason, right? He has to test you for a reason. You have to go through these things, even though they're not the best things. That he even told Abraham that you had to leave your family. You know what I'm saying? So like, you go through these things because there's a bigger purpose in your life.
Yes, and I think it was my boyfriend that said it. Was it him? Somebody said it. I think it was him. But the analogy was like, it's like a fly being on a painting, right? When the fly's on a painting, all you can see is that one speck. But us looking, we can see the whole picture, and that's like God. Like right now, when we're in the storm,
we're the fly.
We can only see that small part. We don't know God's bigger picture. So right now, we like, dang, God, you taking me through this? What's going on?
Yes.
Or even, you don't even have to be going through something. Sometimes it's stuff that we want. Oh, God, please give me this job right here. And God's like, no. And you're wondering why you're not getting that job. It's because God has something way big. Like, it's a whole bigger picture that you don't see.
It's like that picture when the girl doesn't want to get away her little teddy, but there's a man holding a bigger teddy behind his back.
Yes.
So and that's a good analogy, and that's why when we are in the storm, we can't look at it. And I know it's hard.
It is definitely hard.
It's easier said than done.
Definitely.
But that's why the people around you are so important. It's so important. Like, I didn't come from I have a big family, but I didn't come from a close family. Let's put it that way. I am adopted. So, you know, but I do know my biological family, and I'm close with my biological family that are in my life. So I didn't have that close-knit, but then I made my close-knit family, like you and your mom and all of them. Like, you know what I'm saying? My baby father, my other best friends, like, you know, it goes down the line. So the people you have around you are definitely, because if it wasn't for Miss Paula encouraging me, like, you know, just go to church, just come on, let's go do this, let's go do that, I probably would have gave up. I probably definitely would have gave up on my journey with God. Or God has a funny way of doing things, so we might have still got there.
But it would have took a little longer. You would have had to go through some detours and curves.
Yeah, if I didn't have, like, your mom, your grandma, and all the people, like, you know, just keep influencing it in your life. But yeah, that was, I felt useless, I guess, through all that trauma. But, you know, we here now because we're not going to let it stop us. So no matter what's going on, it just made the reason why I want to do what I want to do even stronger, because I don't want nobody to feel like how I felt. You know what I'm saying? Just because you started a business and your first business goes down the drain, you got to go bankrupt. That don't mean you got to stop. That just means that wasn't business, wasn't for you, or it wasn't your time.
Oh, I was about to say, or it wasn't your time, or that might not have been the way he wanted you to do it. He might have wanted you to do it a different way. So, yeah, which is something else that I had to learn, which I'm still kind of learning. Don't get it twisted and think that it's all put together over here, because it's definitely not.
No,
because I still have questions that I'm like, I'm still that fly on this painting sometimes. Like, I can see a little bit more, but it's still a whole painting that I still don't see, that God does see. And, you know, God, at any moment in time when you're ready for me to see it, I'm ready. But I still have questions sometimes, because, like she said, like, we had a trucking business that we had started.
New contract.
New contract and everything. We had truckers under us, and it's like, gave up on everything. Home, health, I was like right there, almost done with having my paperwork. I was just trying to wait till we got everything done with the trucking before I started working on that heavy. I put everything, I was like, well, this obviously, yes.
And it was just,
it was like, this is just not, God don't want me to do this, because why else would he let me have this happen to me? Like she said, you know, she got let go, I quit, and it just, everything went like.
Side note, if y'all was following us 2 years ago when we were doing the lives, I actually got fired 2 weeks after I said, if God wanted me to do something else, go ahead and do it. Like, I don't want to work on my job anymore. Like, I want to do something else. God funny. Just to let you know. So be careful what you say.
What?
Be careful what you say, because he will give it
Definitely.
to you when he want to give it to you.
Or if you're going to say it, make sure you're particular in how you say it.
Say it with your chest.
God, you know, I don't want to work here anymore. So can you give me a better job? Just be particular. Because you're like, oh, you don't want to work anymore? Say less.
Say less. Yeah.
Take care of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, God does work in funny ways. And the insecurities that I still have a little bit, it's not as heavy. And I feel like I've let go a lot of things. I've forgiven, because I was actually upset with myself too.
Why?
I have no idea. I was hurt and upset with myself. And I was like, why are you upset with yourself? Like, what could you have done to prevent that from happening?
Yeah. It would have happened to somebody,
right?
Night.
Honestly,
the way it was set up,
it was going. It just so happened to be me. But what could I have done to prevent that? Honestly, or it would have been worse if it happened to somebody else, and you know, because then I would have felt like. So either way, yeah. So I had to forgive myself for one, and like get over that hump. And then, of course, you know, realize, because again, I didn't realize I was upset with God. I realized I was upset with God. You know, ask for forgiveness for that, and then move past that and start moving on to, okay, what insecurity, what's going on? Why did I shut down? Because I closed myself off from a lot of people, and just like you said, you're dead inside. Like, when I had the ability to, I did still go to church, but that is all I was doing for a
but it wasn't the same.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It wasn't the same.
I was just going to church. It wasn't like I was making the effort of building a relationship with God, me studying my word, me praying like I was before, like reading. No, I wasn't doing any of that. I was just literally being a church going to church, so I could say, well, you know, I'm still going to church. But
not only that, you're still in the presence. We might say it's like you're mad at your sibling or something. Like, you still want your sibling to, like, you know, be okay, but you just don't want to be talking to them, you know, whatever. Yeah. But you're still in the presence of your sibling. Like, you still want to lay eye on your sibling. Like, are you okay? Okay, cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's how it was for me. I was just there, just listening. Yeah. Probably not here. I was hearing, but wasn't listening. That's a better term.
I wasn't processing or taking it in.
I wasn't taking notes. I wasn't like remembering things. I wasn't actively doing like the tips or tricks that they said. Like, nah, I wasn't doing none of that. So, what were your insecurities before the traumatic experience?
Honestly, I had gotten over. I used to have really bad insecurities and depression, y'all. Used to be really, really bad. My boyfriend actually helped me a lot, as well as God, helped me get through a lot of things, as well as my working on myself and me realizing, because again, sometimes we have to sit back and we have to look at it within ourselves and realize, like, what am I doing? What's going on? And okay, so how did I get to this point? And sometimes some things are just from childhood and we don't realize it. Some things are from past relationships, friends, whatever. But sometimes we got to get to the nitty gritty so then we can break that and move on. So honestly, I feel like looks was a thing for me, really heavy back in the day, especially even after I had my daughter and I got, you know, more weight on me and stuff. I had started getting past that. And I was like, ooh, I look good.
Oh, yeah, I remember. You was coming outside.
I was coming outside. Looking
like, that's not my church.
Yes. Yeah, I had started showing out a little bit. You know, I had to calm back down. And then I had got to the point where I had got more confidence, which is why I was like pushing, like, you know what? I'm not supposed to be working on nobody 9 to 5. And I still, don't get me wrong, I done went back to where I am, but at the end of the day, I know within my heart I am supposed to be an entrepreneur. I'm not supposed to be working for somebody else other than God, of course. But I had got more confidence about myself. I never
thought about being an entrepreneur.
Let me not say always. For a long time, I felt like I am not supposed to be, and I am grateful for the careers and the jobs that I did have, because I feel like it taught me so much, especially leadership skills, patience, lots of things. And I'm grateful for that. But I did realize a long time ago that I'm supposed to be an entrepreneur. Whatever direction God wants me to be an entrepreneur in, I realized that a long time ago. So I got that confidence in me, and I was just like, you know what? I started moving in that direction and like putting my hands in things and realizing stuff. So honestly, I don't remember too many insecurities before leading up until that, because I had started getting over things, which is probably another reason why, of course, God, tests us for a reason, but also because of the position I was in, and I was like, oh, I'm about to quit my job, I'm about to start this business, things are looking up, this, that, and the third. I was in a better position, and the devil was like, oh yeah, let me come at her because she's starting to get up here, and we gotta make her get down.
That's funny you say that, because mine was the opposite.
Really?
Mine was the opposite. I felt like I was being punished.
For what? Okay. We ain't gotta be ready to share. It just clicked. Okay.
I'm thinking. I don't know if I'm ready to say it yet.
It just clicked for me. I had to process in my head a little bit and backtrack.
I'm gonna say it.
Okay.
And I apologize for those who are going to hear it and going to be upset in advance that I didn't say it. But I felt like I was being punished because I had an abortion. And the week I decided I was going to have an abortion was the week I got fired. And then the week the abortion actually happened, 2 days later, my brother died. So I felt like I was being punished.
Okay.
Because that was like the first like spiritual battle I had within myself, because it went against everything I believed in, but something in my heart knew that it wasn't right. And I did it alone. Mm-hmm. Well, you knew, and my sister knew.
Yeah, but
that's it. That's the only people who knew. So I felt like I was being punished. So it even added. So, and then survivor's guilt kicked in. So it was just a tumbling thing. But fast forward to now, I was talking to a couple other girls that I hold dear to my heart, and then some strangers that was deciding on their decision what they should do. And I told them, I said, before me having to experience, I would be like, well, you need to do what you need to do. Like, you need to keep the baby. But now I tell them, listen, nobody really knows what goes on in those walls besides you. And only you can decide what you want to do for your life.
Correct.
And what works best for you. Whatever you decide to do, I'm down. Now, most of the girls kept their babies. So cool, love it. Got beautiful kids out of it. But that's what happened for me. So that's like how I went through. So I was going through a silent storm and a public storm at the same time.
I like how you said that. Silent, that's crazy, because that happens to a lot of us. And we have storms within storms.
I had multiple storms within.
A big tsunami or hurricane.
Yes, like it was everything going on in my life, my finances, my spiritual,
different directions, physical,
my physical, because my body was down, my mental was down. Like during all of this, my body was still healing from that. So it was a journey from coming from all angles, and there was so many times I just wanted to be like, I give up. I don't want to do this. There's no purpose here. There's no reason for me to do this. The calling that I thought I was supposed to have, who's gonna listen to me now? Like, I couldn't save this person. I couldn't save that. But then I had to think, granted, you're still here. Granted, my brother's gone. But there's still other people that need my help. Just because 2 casualties out of many other people that I already helped, and then people that I'm helping now. Like, prime example, my mother. My mother had her own trauma as a kid. And losing her baby.
Yes.
While she was in the next room. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my mom was broken before that, but when that happened, she shattered.
Yeah.
But look at her now.
Yep.
My mama in church.
Hold on now. Hold on.
My mama,
I ain't know that one right
listen.
there now.
My mama come to church.
Let me find out Tiffany.
Every Sunday, if she's not sick or has to watch the kids or whatever, she's in church.
That's good. Shout out to you.
She praising at church. She even said, if I have to go to church for her to help me, I'm going. So like,
I love that. Y'all just don't understand.
And that just yeah.
Y'all don't
I'm
understand.
having my mama here one day
Mama
so she could
crazy,
tell her story.
But I love her.
Cause that's my mama.
Yeah.
But to see that growth.
That's amazing though, to see something like, because within ourselves, a lot of times we can't see our own growth. And I'm one to say that. Other people have to tell me, oh, Deidre, you doing this? Oh, you good? I'm proud of you. I'm like, I don't feel like I did nothing. Like, I feel like I got so much to do. I feel like, and they be like, no, you did this and remember this, and I'm like, oh, well,
like I did do that.
I didn't even think about it like that, you know. But when you look at other people and where they were and where they are, it's just like, oh my gosh, wow. Speaking of that, we need to do better when it comes down to that with praising ourselves. Like, we're good for praising other people and recognizing their accomplishments and giving them pats on the back. We are our biggest critics. We got to give ourselves pat. That was a sidebar. Sorry.
Sidebar.
Okay, go ahead.
That's another topic. But yeah, so seeing the growth in her was a confirmation for me that, like, yo, you're supposed to go through what you went through so that your evidence for one, and that you experience your own, so you're not only giving them textbook,
you're giving them experience,
things that you've been through. It might not be the same, but every trauma or every storm somebody goes through, it's not the same exact thing, but it's similar. Like, there's the core value of your storm always starts with you, and always starts with how you think about things and how you view things. And just like you said, we're quick to compare ourselves or give other people compliments and not look at ourselves, which is why insecurity is one of the reasons why you are stuck in your storm, because for one, you're ashamed of your storm. You don't want people to know what you got going on because you think that you're the only one going on through it. So let me tell you right now, you are not the only one going through it. There is somebody else going through it. You don't know.
Some people going through worse.
Exactly. And that's one thing I tell myself, and it may sound rude or maybe even cliche, but I always tell myself it could be worse. Yes. Whenever I find myself freaking out, yes, have your feelings. Feel it. Don't be delusional. Don't sit here and act like your life is great and it's not.
Yeah.
You have to face it head on, but at the same time,
don't stay in it.
Remember that you're not the only one, and there is somebody else that's always going through it worse. Just like before you got a car, you were looking at somebody else who got a car, and now you're looking at somebody else who's walking. Like, you know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind when you're going through the storm. So you have shame. That's insecurity.
Pride. Big one.
Lack of confidence. And it all depends on your trauma. Sometimes it's physical. Some people might have drug addiction. Some people might be depressed. Some people, the list can go on and on. But the whole point of the storm is that you have to look at yourself and realize, like, I can change this if I really wanted to.
Absolutely.
Do I want to be stuck in here? Do I want to play victim and say I'm victim and use that as a clutch for people to just hand things to you?
Just like that.
Me too. Or do you want to take control of it?
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So,
but the one of the first steps is acknowledging, and then looking at yourself in the mirror, because again, you know, and that's a big thing. And I'm not saying you should do it, but not affirmations. Manifest, like a lot of people are doing the whole manifesting thing, which is good, but don't get to the point like what she said. Like, you faking it. Oh, today is great. Like, you just keep saying stuff. You going through a rough day. Like, that is okay at times, but you still need to acknowledge what you're currently going through. Yeah. If you do not acknowledge it, then you're never going to be able to process it, because sometimes we have to process what we're going through in order to get through it. And also, we need to find the root cause of it, because sometimes, if we're being honest, sometimes we are putting ourselves in situations if we can't figure out how we continue to keep going in this circle, this hamster wheel, if we can't figure out where it started, we're going to continue in that cycle. So you have to step back, look in the mirror, process, figure out what started it. Sometimes it's not our fault, but sometimes it is. And once you process it, then I feel like it makes it easier to take the steps to trying to get out of that circle, that cycle.
Once you process it and acknowledge, like, yo, I'm not okay, right? Whatever the case may be, it could be mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever.
All of the above.
All at once. If once you acknowledge it, that's when you can always sit there and try to process the reason why you're going through it, right?
Yeah.
Because, and I think that's what holds people a lot up. Like you said in the beginning, why me? Why? I catch myself now. So if y'all follow me, you know I do like motivational content every now and then, and I really live what I speak. So I would never post anything that I wouldn't do. So I'm big on what I say out my mouth. I'm trying to get used to saying I'm dead, but that's my line. If it's funny, I'm gonna say it.
Listen,
it's so hard, but anyway.
My Yolanda, Naomi used to get at her for saying that. Yolanda, so now she says I'm alive, like instead of saying I'm dead, because what you say, what we utter out our mouth is like,
exactly.
I just said, somebody is just like, oh my gosh, she got a bad body. And I had seen a video where somebody was like talking about people on TikTok. It was like, why do we say the opposite of what we really mean? Like, oh, she bad, instead of saying she looks beautiful. She looks, like, our words mean a lot. Like, we got to watch what we're allowing. And I know in our mind, that's not what we really mean, but we got to watch what comes out of our mouth and start trying to speak positivity.
Your mouth, I don't want to say us like we do spells or whatever, but your mouth is powerful.
Yes.
Your tongue
yes.
is a sword. Like, it's really powerful. So even when things are going on and people be like, why me? I try to change it to why not me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why not me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I done been through X, Y, and Z, and I'm still here. Bring it on. I know I'm strong enough to handle it. I may not feel it. I might not feel like I'm strong in the moment. But I already dealt with something like this before, or why can't I do it again? So why not me? Like, okay, use me, whatever I need to do.
Hey, that ain't nothing that's gonna happen off rip. Don't get it twisted. Sometimes it's gonna take a little bit before you be like, you know what? I can deal with this guy. Why not me? Yeah. So it takes time to get to that place. Don't get it twisted now. But when you are better and you can't get to that place,
but that's what comes after you can acknowledge your trauma and your issues and your storm or whatever is going on. But the biggest thing, and even they tell you when there is a literal storm going on and you're driving in it, they tell you don't stop. They specifically tell you do not stop, because for one, if it's raining real bad and you're stopped, the car that's driving past you can't see you until it's too late and they can't slow down. There might be debris going around and you stationary in an unsheltered place. It's not going to work. So you have to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Do it afraid. Do it with no confidence. Do it not knowing what you're doing. Do it.
It made me think of this post or story that I read, and it was a girl that had just learned how to drive, and her dad was in the car, and it started storming really bad, and people was pulling over beside the road because of how bad it was storming. And she was about to, he said, nope, don't stop, keep driving. And he said, turn your hazard lights on, just drive slow. And she was like, why, Dad? He was just like, keep driving. And she kept doing it, just drove slower until the storm ended. And then he said, like, when the storm ended, he said, now look out your rearview mirror. It was nothing but a whole bunch of cars like on the side of the road, you know, and a lot of debris and everything, but it was behind her. But she was in front. It was nothing in front of her. She was just going. And he was like, now, if you had been back there, you would have been behind everyone else. But if you keep withering through the storm, he was like, look how much further ahead you'll be. It just made me think of that when you said that.
Yeah, because it's a thing. And that's physical and spiritual. Mm-hmm. Like, life is a game of chess.
Well, let's use a different game. I don't know how to play that one. I don't know how to play chess.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe checkers, I can play that one.
I'm gonna teach you how to play chess. But life is a game of chess, and the reason why they say life is a game of chess because chess is a mind game. You have to play defense and offense at the same time.
I do know that much.
Right? So that's where the quote comes from, and that's because you always have to think. Mm-hmm. You have to play. Life is a game, regardless whatever game you're playing. You have to trick yourself into what it is that you want. Right? Think about a baby. Mm-hmm. A baby don't know nothing. The baby just knows it wants to get over there because mommy over there. So they're going to do whatever they need to do to get over there. They're going to try to climb out no matter how dangerous it is, they're going to try to climb out the crib to come to wherever they want to go.
Yeah.
We need to have that same analogy.
Yeah, that is true.
When we're in our storm. So we say all that. When you're in a storm, first thing, acknowledge the storm. Mm-hmm. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't be ashamed of your story. Don't be ashamed of what you do not have. Be thankful that you are breathing, that you can talk.
You can walk, or whatever else you can do.
Like, we take those things so for granted.
Yes, we do, Lord Jesus.
But once you're in the storm, acknowledge it. Once you acknowledge the storm, go ahead and remember who you are. And try to process what's going on and just keep moving until you're out of it. Mm-hmm. No matter how long it takes. Mm-hmm. This happened to us, 2 years ago?
Yes, and I ain't fully walked through it. Like, the storm, I can see now. But,
it's clear.
Right.
It's still
it's a lot of debris and stuff that got to get cleaned up,
we're still moving and we're still active and we're trying. Stop trying to get back to who you were before the storm.
Oh, yeah. That ain't
please. And I used to say that a lot. Like, I just want to get back to how it used to be.
Yeah,
you're not that person anymore.
When you go through certain things, you can never be back to the person that you used to be. Or maybe you went through that storm because of the person you used to be. So if you really try that hard to get back to that person, who's to say you're not about to go through something else but worse? Because now you're trying to get back to where God didn't want you. He was trying to bring you over here for a reason. And now you're trying to get back over here.
Exactly. So stop trying to be back to that person. Go ahead. Keep moving. Be the new you with this story. We're not going to keep... Once the storm is over, it's irrelevant. It's the past. It's old
I'm not going to say
news.
it's irrelevant. Because it's your story. And it's your
But what I'm saying,
stripes.
You're not actively in it. So what I mean by that is, yeah, I lost my brother.
Correct.
But that was in the past. I'm living with it, but it's not affecting, it is going to affect. It's not taking control or leading.
Okay, that's better.
It's not leading my life today.
Yes. I
so
agree with that.
So let's put it that way. It's not leading my life today.
Yes.
And be okay. Be like, yeah, I'm good. My brother passed. I went through this. I went through that, but I'm here now. Don't use it as something that hinders you or holds you back or weighs you down. Mm-hmm. Use it as, oh yeah, I've been through that. I got this. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever it is you want to do. If you want to be an advocate for something, if you want to use that to build your brand or whatever it is you need to do with whatever you've been through, use it as something positive than something negative.
Yeah, try to spin it.
Which is why we're not going to call that an insecurity. It's not an insecurity no more. Mm-mm. It's your scar battle. It's your battle wound. It's your battle wound. You get what I'm saying? So everybody has a story. Everybody done been through something.
Some people got stories.
Exactly. Some people, there's not one person on this earth, no matter how much they want to fake it, has a perfect life.
No.
Now,
everybody's been through something. Now, your extreme might not be my extreme, but it might be extreme to you.
That's what I was just about to say.
Because everybody's things are different.
Don't look at somebody else's story and be like, oh, that's nothing. I done da-da-da. Like, we live in a world where comparison is the thing, especially with social media. We're so used to looking at the next person and comparing ourselves to the next person. Like, oh, this, and this, or they got that already. Like how you said, like, why me, God? I done did this, and this person got this, and this. Why'd you give it to them? We're not doing that. Everybody is not built the same.
Everybody can't handle the same stuff.
Everybody did not grow up like you did. So they might not have the manners or the understanding. Everybody's not from the streets. Everybody's not from the silver platter. Okay? Yeah. So, with that being said, when you are going through your storm or you're trying to tell your story, and even though somebody's story may be so little, like, oh, I'm going through a divorce, or I just lost my job, but I still have money in the bank. Like, whatever it is to that person, and it is a struggle for that person, let them live in their struggle. Don't try to compare it or downplay theirs.
Or say somebody's is worse or better, like...
yeah, like, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Every storm is different. Every storm has its own damage. Everybody survives it differently. We just had Hurricane Helen, whatever her name is. Some people, like here where we lived, it wasn't that bad, but people 30 miles up the road is flooded out.
Heck yeah.
So everybody has different perspectives, and life is all about perspectives, which is why you need to train your mind the best of your ability. So when you're in the storm, control your mind, try to control your emotions, acknowledge it, own up to it, and do the best you can to be a better version of yourself with the scars.
Have faith.
Yes.
Faith is definitely a thing.
So we said all of that, and we talked about our storms and how we got through it. What are some tips and tricks that we can give these people who are, we're going to break it down to 3. But somebody who just started a storm, somebody who is in the midst of a storm, and somebody who is out of a storm. What some encouraging words we can give to all 3?
Somebody that just started a storm. Okay, well, I would say, like what we said, first things first, acknowledge that your storm has started. Because I think a lot of times we don't realize until we're deeper in that we're in a storm. And I think it's because we're not, I don't want to say we're not conscious, but we're not, I guess say we're not as focused as we should be on certain things. Like we need to be more aware of ourselves.
So more self-aware.
Self-aware, there you go. Okay. We need to be more self-aware of ourselves. So I would say trying to be more self-aware. You notice that you've got a lot, you're getting hit left and right. Like, okay, dang, this just happened to me. I don't know what's going on, but okay, we're going to keep going. Oh, this just happened. This just out. Wait a minute. Let me take a step back. Let me think about this. First, realizing that you're within a storm. So being self-aware of what you got going on in your life. And if, I don't know, everybody doesn't believe what I believe. But if you are a believer, I would say have faith and pray. Pray. And the quicker you can start praying, the better. Honestly, that's how I feel.
Yeah, I could say that. But you also don't want to pray without a heart either.
What you mean without a heart?
So when you're praying, make sure you're praying with your heart. Like
what you mean?
What I'm trying to say is, like, we can say words and we could just talk and not mean what we're saying.
If you in a storm, I hope you mean what you're saying.
But that's what I'm saying. Some people, like, you know how when we were in the beginning of our storm, we felt numb.
I went praying though. I can't say.
But you just said pray as quickly. That's what I'm saying. So don't.
Yeah, I'm telling them don't do what I do. I went praying. You pray. I wasn't.
Her thing is just say what you want to say, whether you believe it or not.
I'm saying pray. I hope when you pray, I feel like if you ain't believing when you pray, that's because when you're praying
some
like,
people
God,
pray,
help me. You even just saying, God, please help me.
So let me put it this way. Sometimes, and this happened to me when I first started, so maybe this is why I'm speaking from it. When I first started my journey in my faith and I was praying, I was just trying to bring God in my life some way, somehow. So I was like, okay, the first 10 minutes I'm gonna pray. Sometimes I don't know what I'm praying for. I'm just trying to talk to him.
But that's okay. Because you're new in it. So I feel like God, because God looks at your heart. So if he knows like, okay, this is my baby, she's a child of this, she doesn't know what she's doing. She's just trying to get me some type of way. Mm-hmm. She doesn't know any direction or whatever. I feel like he'll accept that.
Oh, okay. Well, I just felt like I didn't know what I was doing. I was just saying words and
you
da da da. So I guess, okay, that's good. Pray whether... Just call his name.
Call his name.
Just call his name if you don't know what else to say.
They call that tarrying. Mm-hmm. It's an old folks thing where you just literally say his name over and over and over and over and over again for hours. They call it tarrying. Until
you feel your body,
spirit,
your soul, whatever.
Yes.
But that's good advice. What I would add to that, check your surroundings. You can't be in a storm. You can't just start a storm and you're surrounding yourself with people who help you get in the storm.
Yes, I like that. I had to process it.
So for my newbies, so sad. I should never call you newbies. I'm sorry. For the people who are just now starting a storm, whatever it is, even if it's your first storm or your 15,000 storm, put yourself in an area where people who are uplifting, people who are on a positive, mindset, whatever it is, or just go out and do something that made you feel good. Because sometimes we cloud our minds and we just stuck replaying whatever it is in our head over and over and over again. We need a distraction sometimes. And like I said, life is a game. So you got to trick your mind into thinking that, okay, cool, I could do this. I could be somewhat normal. There's some sense of normalcy going on. Because that's kind of what happened with me. I started going to the gym heavy again. I would be in the gym. That was my discipline. To me, if I can get a routine in, I have discipline, it's going to, follow and flow into the rest of my life. So that's one of the advices I would give on top of what you done told the new person.
On top of what she just said, do the opposite of what you want to do. And when I say that, like, my thing is when I'm going through something, I close off. So I'll distance myself from people. I'll lock myself in my room. It's kind of like a whole depression thing. I just want to be in my room. It's dark. Don't want to be, and I'm just thinking. I'm overthinking and doing too much. Instead, I need to, like what she was saying, I need to surround myself with people and I need to be out there. And then the people, I know other people that handle their stuff differently. They will go out, they'll party, drink, and all that stuff. You need to do the opposite.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't go out and drink.
Yeah, do the opposite. Matter of fact, go. You might need to go home and process and think.
I can attest to that because when everything was going on, I'm not a smoker like that or whatever, but I just wanted to drink or smoke and just get my mind off everything. I remember when I first got to New York for the funeral, the first day I found out my brother, like hours after, I was like, oh, I need a bottle. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I caught myself for like the first three days I was in New York. I was drinking every day. I'll wake up, shower, go get something to eat, go hang out with my homies, and then drink. And I think it was like the day of the funeral because I'm the eldest of my adopted family. And that's who, my youngest of that family died. And I was like, nah, I can't drink. I can't do that. Like, I have to make sure they straight. So, like, I had to tell myself, like, nah. People actually want to drink. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I would just sit there in silence, like, I'm good. So, I agree. Like, it started off, and you were there. It started off with me. I need a drink. I need something. To, like, get me going. But then I had to set myself back because I didn't want to use that substance as a clutch. So I know it's hard. Some people have the trait in them or whatever. So whatever you can do, try to do the opposite of what how she said. But yeah, that was a good one. That's a real good one.
You ready to come out because of what you were saying?
That was a good one. Okay, so now what about for my people who are in the midst, like dead set in the middle? They already been in it for a long time and they don't know where to go forward. They don't know how to go backwards, left or right. Like, what would we, just one tip that we could tell them?
Keep going. Like what you were saying, like the story I gave and like what you were saying, when you're in the storm, when the slower you are, or the more you stop, the longer you're going to be within that storm. So there are times where we want to give up, we want to stop. I'm just throwing in time. I don't want to do this no more. But what is that going to stop? Okay, I gave up. What, like, the storm isn't going to stop just because I said I don't want to do this no more. Like, depending on the storm, it may not stop just because I'm like, oh, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And please don't go the route of, wanting to take your life either, which I've been years and years ago. I've been there before as well.
I'm gonna post the suicide line on here. There's a text line. I'm so bad. I should know this. I think it is 988, but I'm not 100% sure. But I will make sure I put it in the description of this video, or even put it on the screen here, because even find me on Instagram, Creating Life Changes, Facebook, my Instagram page, or my website. Just reach out to me or something, because we need you here.
Yeah.
Okay, so
let's not get to that place.
Yeah.
So keep pushing forward, keep going. It's always hard to weather a storm alone. And
that was gonna be my tip. I was gonna say, reach out to somebody, talk to somebody about it, whether it's a stranger, somebody that you're comfortable in. I think that's one of the things that make the storm so hard, is that
we try to take it on by ourselves.
Take it on by yourself, or just feel like, for me, when I was in the midst of my storm, one of the things for me when I was in the midst of my storm, like in that confused stage, like I don't know which way to go or what to do, I felt like I didn't have the right to feel that way.
Okay.
Because you had it worse. I felt so. So for me to sit there and complain about my storm while you were in the midst of your storm sound very selfish to me.
So you did, there's a little bit of side work. So you did the whole comparison.
Yes. So that's why I was saying, still find somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
Find somebody to talk to. Shout out to the people who I could talk to, especially Kendall. Shout out to you in the midst of that.
Yes, Kendall, whoever you are, shout out to you.
Definitely in the midst of that, because through everything that was going on, you always made sure to check on me in the midst, like actively in the midst when I was in New York. So shout out to you, homie. Make sure you just have somebody else to confide in, or write in a journal. Sometimes it's good to, see your thoughts or hear how you feel, instead of just thinking it is different. Either way, just find an outlet to gain clarity. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
And don't compare your storm to somebody else.
Right.
Don't belittle your own storm, and don't belittle somebody else's storm.
Don't belittle your own storm.
Because I did
like
that. So.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Which prevents you from being able to fully process, or to take longer to process.
And it kind of prevents you from growing with people, because we grew a lot together. We've been in the game, 10 plus years now, over that. Our babies is 11. So, and we knew each other way before that. So,
I'm 24, guys.
Delusional. It stops you from building that strong relationship with somebody too. And I'm a big person who doesn't like to be vulnerable. Me and her have been friends for years, but during that moment there, she got like the nitty gritty inside of who I was and where I came from, and because I brought her back to my hometown. So, don't close yourself off.
Mm-hmm.
Embrace who you are at that moment, whether if it's a mess, if you are just a little cracked, or if you are shattered. Embrace it all and confide in somebody.
Yes. And again, and I know I'm preaching, y'all, but don't forget about God.
Oh, of course. He's number one.
In all honesty, we are never alone. We feel like it, like physically, we feel like it, but honestly, mentally, spiritually, everything, he's always like right there watching over us. And we might not, I went through a deliverance thing at my church, and like one of the
don't go too deep in that, because I want to definitely ask you about that
later
on.
Well, just know that God is always there. He's like in the presence of the midst. But because we're lasered in and focused on what we got going on, a lot of times, or most times, if not all times, you don't feel his presence. You don't see him. You don't know this man is there, because we just are so focused on the fact that we're going through, and we don't see nothing else. Laser focused.
Yes. Looking back, God was with me numerous times as a childhood, but in those 2 years in specifically, yeah, I ain't worked for like a whole year, bro. I ain't worked that whole year. Like once I got fired,
still good.
I got fired in April, the beginning of April, right? I ain't start working again until what? That around my birth, like August of the following year.
Don't ask me time.
I don't know. I don't know. Either way,
and you were still taken care of,
and everything were paid up. I was even dealing with a whole bunch of stuff and possibly losing things, and literally like a month after I got back from New York, all my bills were paid up for the rest of the year.
Taken care of
in the midst, and I wasn't even being as faithful. I just kept being in the presence. You know what I'm saying? So that definitely goes back to
not even realizing that it's blessings, even if it's coming from others or so different sources.
So God and Jesus and being saved is definitely the best thing that ever happened to me. And he's been with me since a young kid in my childhood, but to really embrace it now and speak about it, it's amazing and it is beautiful. So y'all,
you may not know him, but he know you.
Get in your word. Go ahead, protect yourself. But finally, last tip and trick for my people who are already out of the storm.
Embrace the fact that you went through the storm. Like, whew, this hurricane over. I'm happy. Like,
my house still standing.
Right. Like celebrate, but also
just give grace. Give yourself grace.
And thank God. Like, God, you took me through this, and I'm still here. I'm breathing.
And when you people don't even know that you've been through what you've been through. And that's the best feeling. And I've just now recently gotten telling my story a little bit more.
I was just about to say.
From my childhood.
Tell your story.
From my childhood to now. And I don't care. I'm 31, y'all. I moved out to Florida when I was 17 years old with maybe $300 in my pocket. I'm a master's degree student. I have my own business. I am starting a podcast. But when I sit there and I tell people what I've been through, when I have like these one-on-one moments, they would never know. Because you wear it like there's nothing. You're just, so go. My tip for the person who just got out of the storm is go shine. Just go shine, baby.
Go share your story, because the person you very well could be sharing your story to is the person that's just started going through the storm, or in the midst of the storm, or the storm is probably coming around the corner, and you giving them some insight for when that storm does come.
Because half the time, the things that we go through has nothing to do for us. It's for the next person.
I know that. And that
our gift is not for us. It's for the next person.
That's crazy.
God blessing us is not even our blessing. It's our blessing to give to the next person. So for my person who just got out the storm, go ahead and shine. Live your life. Be thankful. Give yourself grace and forgiveness. And go bless somebody else.
And learn. Remember what you learned, because again, that you still need to process. And remember, okay, I did go through that storm. I made it out. But what did I get? Because lessons and blessings. Yes, I was blessed. But I had a lesson in the storm. Because again, we don't want to go back to what we was before we went through that storm. Because we could have probably went through that storm because of what we was. And we don't want to go back to that person. We want to be a better person, have a brighter light, and help the next person. So what was your lesson in that storm? And what can I do better? Or what can I do differently moving forward? Or how can I help the next? Whatever it may be, what is the lesson in that storm?
And not only that, I'm gonna end it like this. Just because you got out of one storm, don't be naive and think another one ain't gonna hit. Don't. So
it's another hurricane out there already, y'all.
Kurt's coming. But y'all listen. The moral of the story is, don't be ashamed of who you are, what you've been through. Embrace your storm. Be thankful that you lived through it.
Mm-hmm.
Give yourself grace.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, embrace yourself. Prepare yourself for another one coming. Because after that storm, you're only going to be greater than what you were before. That's Absolutely. If you allow it. That's if you want it to be.
Yes.
You know, so.
I agree.
Moral of the story is, I have a story to tell because I made it through my storm. And you will too, right?
I remember I had shirt on y'all this time.
I can't stand you. But anyway, y'all, it's been a great time chatting with y'all.
Oh, yes, it's been great. I didn't know it was my turn. It's been a great conversation. You will be seeing more of us. And sometimes, you know, she likes to do little positive videos on hers. I got to get back better at doing mine. And you might see us telling our story and opening up more.
Maybe we might have like some random people here asking us questions.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Put us in the hot seat.
Yeah. Because we always got them in the hot seat. So let somebody else put us in the hot seat. But either way, yeah, don't be a stranger to our page, Creating Life Changes, on Instagram, Creating Life Changes on YouTube. You can also find me on my website at creatinglifechanges.org if you want to book a session 1-on-1, consultations. I do team building, all that stuff. So, you know, click the link, follow, like, share, you know, more content. Anything you want us to talk about, please don't hesitate to inbox me. I love to hear you guys' stories and, you know, have you guys on the show. So, as always, stay blessed and we love you.
This has been another episode of Creating Life Changes.
Peace out.